Hello, everyone. Welcome to our lecture for Module 15. Specifically, in this lecture, we'll go over how the requirements that we've covered so far for Part 3 buildings actually apply in a similar fashion for Part 9 buildings. Now, obviously, if it's for Part 9 buildings, it'll be in Part 9 of the building code, and that's what we'll do for this lecture. So specifically, we're going to be dealing with buildings that have occupancy C, D, E, F2, and F3. First and foremost, you want to make sure that if you haven't already, you want to download the course notes, or you want to at least print them out. You want to make sure that you have them. You never know when they will no longer be available for you on Brightspace. So please do that now. You don't want to wait too long for this when they're no longer available. Great, let's get into this. When it comes to Part 9 buildings, okay, we have to first be able to recognize whether or not we can distinguish between a Part 3 and a Part 9 building. There are three specific requirements under Division A, Sentence 1.1.2.41 of the Building Code that identify a Part 9 building. These three requirements are as follows. Specifically, a Part 9 building must be no more than 3 stories in building height. A Part 9 building must be no more than 600 square meters in building area. A Part 9 building must be either of C, D, E, F2, or F3 occupancy. Now, if you want to practice and review this, because it's already been covered, but you can review it for sure, go check out question 3 of worksheet 1. Okay, so I'm not going to spend too much of this lecture going over all the details as they relate to Part 9 building requirements for everything that we've covered so far for Part 3. And that's because all of the requirements that I'm going to be listing right now are listed for you in your course notes. And in your course notes, there's also some blurbs that go with them to give you some more information. The idea is that you've already put in the work to know about these items, like how to figure out the fire resistance rating of building structure, and then identifying mezzanines for whether or not they count as a story or not, separating suites and figuring out fire resistance ratings of walls, public corridors, exits, that sort of stuff, okay? Looking at closures, looking at stairs, ramps, looking at barrier-free design, and looking at plumbing facility. You want to go through your course notes as you're reviewing this lecture, or maybe even after this lecture, and every time, like we've done so far for every other module, every time you come across a code reference, you want to read it in the building code, the whole thing, okay? That includes anything that comes after within that code reference, okay? That way, when it comes to something like a final exam or another test, and you're asked to determine, I don't know, the fire resistance rating of something, well, the first thing you do is instead of just going directly to Part 9, because it's a lot easier if you do it in Part 9, you check to see whether that building is Part 3 or Part 9. And then you know whether you go to Part 3 or whether you go to Part 9, okay? You can't just go to Part 9 because it's easier. So be careful about that. Don't want you to lose any marks unnecessarily. Okay, believe it or not, that's it. You need to put in the time for this, so go over the course notes for this. Please print them out or download them. You just don't want to just access them through Brightspace because you never know when they will disappear from Brightspace, okay? Thank you so much for your time. The next lecture is going to be about firewalls. It'll be linked for you maybe in the description below, but more than likely it will just be uploaded to the same YouTube channel where you've seen these other videos, and it will be uploaded to the same playlist. So thank you so much for your time, and take care.